Trump pardons former Arizona Sheriff Joe Arpaio. President Trump on Friday pardoned former Arizona Sheriff Joe Arpaio, a move that keeps one of his staunchest political allies out of jail and will likely cheer his conservative base, which supports both men's hardline views on illegal immigration. The unusual pardon, coming less than a month after Arpaio was convicted, and before his planned October sentencing, will further anger the president's critics and is likely to worsen the president's already tense relationship with the judicial branch, which he has repeatedly criticized. A pardon is perhaps the only way to make Arpaio, a longtime county sheriff who gained national fame and notoriety for his aggressive pursuit of undocumented immigrants, a more polarizing figure than he already is. The decision on Arpaio is the latest chapter in a line of historically controversial pardons granted by presidents, rare but not unprecedented uses of power that draw fire for being politically or personally motivated. Legal experts have compared an Arpaio pardon to the one President George H.W. Bush granted to former Defense Secretary Caspar Weinberger in 1992 over the Iran-Contra affair, or the one President Clinton granted to fugitive financier Marc Rich in 2001. But Arpaio's pardon, the first of the Trump presidency, is a rarity among rarities. In recent decades, presidents have tended to issue controversial pardons at the end of their terms, not the beginning. The move raises questions about how often the president might pardon other political figures, and for what types of offenses. In a statement announcing the pardon, Trump made no mention of Arpaio's offense, criminal contempt of court, but praised his past military service. Arpaio's life and career, which began at the age of 18 when he enlisted in the military after the outbreak of the Korean War, exemplify selfless public service, Trump said. Throughout his time as sheriff, Arpaio continued his life's work of protecting the public from the scourges of crime and illegal immigration. Sheriff Joe Arpaio is now 85 years old, and after more than 50 years of admirable service to our nation, he is worthy candidate for a presidential pardon, the statement continued. Arpaio's lawyer, Jack Wylanczyk, said simply, "Justice has been done." In a tweet, Arpaio thanked the president for seeing my conviction for what it is, a political witch hunt by holdovers in the Obama Justice Department. Arpaio told the Associated that he appreciates the president's action and will always stand by him. He said he will speak more about the matter next week. The sheriff's critics spent years trying to stop the police practices that Arpaio sanctioned and that they charged were discriminatory and abusive. In recent weeks, they had vociferously objected to the pardon that Trump repeatedly hinted was coming. A deputy legal director of the American Civil Liberties Union called the pardon a presidential endorsement of racism. Trump has chosen lawlessness over justice, division over unity, hurt over healing, said Cecilia Wang, the ACLU official. Once again, the president has acted in support of illegal, failed immigration enforcement practices that target people of color and have been struck down by the courts. The president traveled this week to Phoenix, where he suggested at a rally that he was on the verge of pardoning Arpaio, but said he would not do it that night because it would be controversial. Earlier this month, the president told Fox News he was seriously considering a pardon for Arpaio, who was convicted last month of criminal contempt for ignoring a federal judge's order to stop detaining people because he merely suspected them of being undocumented immigrants. Trump called Arpaio a great American patriot who had done a lot in the fight against illegal immigration. He has protected people from crimes and saved lives. He doesn't deserve to be treated this way. Senator Charles E. Schumer, DNY, also accused the president of using the cover of the storm to pardon a man who violated a court's order. Normally, pardon applications are submitted to the Justice Department, where they are scrutinized over a period of months before recommendations are made to the White House. Some applicants wait years to find out whether they will receive pardons or clemency. Arpaio's pardon came much faster, and it was not subject to a Justice Department review, according to officials. Arpaio's sentencing was scheduled for October 5, and he had faced up to 6 months in prison. Vanita Gupta, chief executive of the Leadership Conference on Civil and Human Rights, said the president has yet again damaged himself, the rule of law, and our country tonight. This pardon sends a dangerous message that a law enforcement officer who abused his position of power and defied a court order can simply be excused by a president who himself clearly does not respect the rule of law. Arpaio's lawyer has maintained that the prosecution of Arpaio was a political vendetta against a foe of the Obama administration and that therefore the political act of a pardon was a fair and just way to end the case. Arpaio, the former sheriff of Maricopa County, Arizona, has long been an advocate for Trump and spoke in support of him at the Republican National Convention in July 2016. The men seem to have the same views on illegal immigrants and the use of harsh tactics against criminals or suspected criminals. Arpaio is well known in part for forcing his inmates to wear pink underwear and sleep outdoors in his tent city jail. The legal saga surrounding Arpaio dates back years. In 2011, as part of a lawsuit, the then-sheriff was enjoined by U.S. District Judge G. Murray Snow from detaining people he thought to be illegal immigrants, when they were not charged with any other crime. Prosecutors alleged that Arpaio continued to do so, and last year, the Justice Department decided to pursue a criminal contempt of court case against him. Critics said that his policy of detaining people on mere suspicion was racist and illegal, and that his refusal to honor a court's order to stop was brazen. Arpaio's lawyers argued that the judge's order enjoining their client's conduct was not clear, and they suggested that Arpaio was merely doing what others do routinely, turning over those in the country illegally to the U.S. Border Patrol. Trump seriously considering a pardon for ex-Sheriff Joe Arpaio. President Trump may soon issue a pardon for Joe Arpaio, the colorful former Arizona sheriff who was found guilty 2 weeks ago of criminal contempt for defying a state judge's order to stop traffic patrols targeting suspected undocumented immigrants. In his final years as Maricopa County Sheriff, Arpaio had emerged as a leading opponent of illegal immigration. "I am seriously considering a pardon for Sheriff Arpaio," the president said Sunday, during a conversation with Fox News at his club in Bedminster, N.J. "He has done a lot in the fight against illegal immigration. He's a great American patriot and I hate to see what has happened to him." Trump said the pardon could happen in the next few days, should he decide to do so. Arpaio, 85, was convicted by U.S. District Judge Susan Bolton of misdemeanor contempt of court for willfully disregarding an Arizona judge's order in 2011 to stop the anti-immigrant traffic patrols. Arpaio had maintained the law enforcement patrols for 17 months thereafter. The man who built a controversial national reputation as America's toughest sheriff admitted he prolonged his patrols, but insisted he did not intend to break the law because one of his former attorneys did not explain to him the full measure of restrictions contained in the court order. He is expected to be sentenced on October 5 and could face up to 6 months in jail. However, since he is 85 years old and has no prior convictions, some attorneys doubt he will receive any jail time. Citing his long service as an outstanding sheriff, the president said Arpaio is admired by many Arizona citizens who respected his tough-on-crime approach. Arpaio's widely publicized tactics included forcing inmates to wear pink underwear and housing them in desert tent camps where temperatures often climbed well past 100 degrees Fahrenheit. He also controversially brought back chain gangs, including a voluntary chain gang for women prisoners. Civil liberties and prisoner advocates as well as supporters of immigrants' rights have criticized Arpaio for years, culminating in his prosecution. He lost his bid for re-election last year. "Is there anyone in local law enforcement who has done more to crack down on illegal immigration than Sheriff Joe?" asked Trump. "He has protected people from crimes and saved lives. He doesn't deserve to be treated this way." Stopping the flow of undocumented immigrants across the southern U.S. border was a central theme of the president's campaign. Arpaio endorsed Trump in January 2016. Trump indicated he may move quickly should he decide to issue a presidential pardon. "I might do it right away, maybe early this week. I am seriously thinking about it." Trump could decide to await the outcome of an appeal by Arpaio's lawyers who contend their client's case should have been decided by a jury, not a judge. In a statement after the verdict, his attorneys stated, "The judge's verdict is contrary to what every single witness testified in the case." Arpaio believes that a jury would have found in his favor, and that it will. Reached Monday for reaction to the possible pardon, Arpaio expressed surprise that Trump was aware of his legal predicament. "I am happy he understands the case," he told Fox News. "I would accept the pardon because I am 100% not guilty." The former sheriff said he will continue to be a strong supporter of the president regardless of whether he receives a pardon. But he also voiced concern that a pardon might cause problems for Trump, saying, "I would never ask him for a pardon, especially if it causes heat. I don't want to do anything that would hurt the president." Trump has not granted any pardons so far in his presidency. Greg Jarrett is a Fox News anchor and former defense attorney.